Hey, closet busters and bold move makers. It is time once again for Life Uncloseted. So I want you to gather around because it is time once again to kick down those closet doors of your life. We're here to escape our BS, explore our fears, and elevate our self-expression. I'm your host, Rick Clemens. I'm the bold move expert and that coming out guy who's going to take you to the party, the pulpit, the wake, and back to the party of living your life uncloseted. So come on along with me and grab hold of yourself and get ready to step out, step up, and step into facing your fears, making your bold moves, and living life without apologies. Now let's get to the show. Hey, Life Uncloseted family. It is, well, we got a little surprise. We're going to kick off Pride this show. So I was waiting for the next show, and that was probably really loud how I just shouted in your ear. But deal with it, turn your earphones down, whatever you got to do, because I had an opportunity to introduce you to an amazing young guy who, well, he's also very adorable, but you're not. Well, maybe you will, because I've got his headshot, but I've got a candid picture of him too. But
don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, exactly. But his name is Wils. He's a Singapore pop singing sensation on the rise, and we thought, what better way to kick off Pride than let's do it with a little bit of music. Let's get it with somebody who's been, well, kind of going on his own little interesting coming out journey, being from a country and an area of the world where, well, being gay isn't so gay sometimes. So just want to be open that we are going wherever we go today on this podcast. And I'm so excited to have you here, Wils. Thanks for coming and being on the show with me, man.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So where do you want to start, man? Do you want to talk about what it's like being gay in Asia, or you want to talk about your music? We can go anywhere.
Say hi, everybody. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Okay, so I have a little confession. Not only did I say he's really cute, I mean, this guy has actually been on the cover of Men's Health magazine. So just trust me on this one. You know, I know he probably hates that when people like fondle.
Oh, gosh. I'm, cover, they always do like Photoshop a lot and stuff like that. So,
Well, we know that, but still, it was pretty to look at. So anyway, so let's kind of start in that realm. You were not openly out and everything, for a while, and then now suddenly you're just like, okay, bitches, this is it. I'm done. I'm going to be who I want to be. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I've been a singer for about 8 years, and I've always written songs that were, written for the general audience, but I've always figured, I've always known that I'm gay since I was 9 years old, and I realized that I couldn't write anymore. I couldn't write songs anymore because I wasn't being truthful to myself. And I remember just going out to the gay bars when I was in Los Angeles, when I came here to work on a music video, and I was like, oh my god, this is so nice, this is so great, it's like I've never seen this before. And because in Singapore it's something that is it's okay to be gay, but you just don't talk about it.
Gotcha.
And so I realized that when I hit my 30th birthday last year, I said,
oh my god, you're such a baby. Oh my god.
I'm not a baby.
30th birthday, for crying out loud. I'm going to be 56 in a couple of months. So hello, holla.
And then I decided that I don't want to live another day of my life being someone else. I just want to be truthful to myself. And I realized that if, when I was out with my friends in the past, I wasn't being truthful to, who I am. And I would always worry about, them discovering about my sexuality. And that worrying and that fear always made me not enjoy the moment, because I was just thinking about that all the time. So I don't want to, it's in life is all about where you put your thoughts in. It's like if you put your thoughts in fear, you're going to just keep thinking about it. It's going to be worse. But I just want to put my thoughts in living truthfully. And that's how I discovered that, hey, I actually feel really comfortable and really more confident being myself if I were to just be truthful to myself. Yeah.
And that's what Pride Month is truly. I mean, every day should be about being open and truthful about yourself. But I think this is where, kicking this off Pride Month here with this conversation is so beautiful, because there are still people who are in those spaces, man. And we all know it. We know there's people who feel like they can't be themselves. And, even in your own home country, it's still, it's there, but, it's not the most comfortable space to be LGBTQ. And I think for Pride Month, the important thing is to realize, this is still happening all over the world where people aren't accepted, but it starts with you accepting yourself. And even if you can't be fully out, at least you can be fully out with yourself. And the more you embrace yourself and the more you say, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to show up in the world,
Right.
the easier it is, even if you can't be completely out where you live. So
Right. You nailed it so well. It's, I've always told my friends that when I, the first thing when I came out, I said that, I'm so grateful that you guys would accept me for who I am. And
mhm,
also one thing I've learned out of this journey is that, like exactly like you said, is if I cannot accept myself, then how do I, accept the others in my life? And it's important not to, it's important that you accept yourself more than, other people accept you. It's,
mhm.
if people don't accept you, that is okay, because that's,
Their stuff.
their stuff. Yeah, that's their mentality. But first it comes from, within you. You live in your, your own shoes for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mhm, mhm,
And that is the place that you want to be comfortable in. That's the place that starts, that wakes up in the morning. That is the place that goes to bed in the night. That is that very consciousness of yours is where you should start in loving yourself. And when you do that, the outside sources, no matter how challenging it is, because you already truthfully love yourself,
mhm,
it will always it will always be all right.
mhm. And I know that's hard for some people to really hear because they're like, I can't believe this will be all right ever.
Right.
And especially, in spaces in the world like your home country where it's still illegal, people can go to jail, people can't adopt kids, you can't get married.
Yeah.
But you have to, I hate to say you have to keep up the hope, but you really do. You have to keep that fire alive within yourself, because it's really easy if you don't have the fire alive within yourself to
Right.
then give somebody else the power to just say, okay, fine, I'll do this. And I know I hid in the closet for 36 years
Wow.
and even I was in a marriage for 13 years. And
Yeah.
most of the listeners know all this, but it was that inability to keep my fire alive until I realized, okay, that fire
Yeah.
is the thing that is going to make me the most honest with myself. And the
Yeah.
more honest I could be with myself, the more power I gave myself. And the more power I had and gave myself, the easier it was to just stand up in the face of criticism and people who said, you can't be this and you can't show up this way. And
Oh, I love to hear that. That's so nice.
yeah.
It's so empowering when I hear things like that. It's really, eh, after I moved to the States, I've seen all these pride festivals and all the things that people are doing for the gay community. I think there's so much that needs to be done in Asia, and this,
Mhm,
I'm taking the best out of the things I've learned from America, and I just
mhm,
want to share that to the world. And it's been so nice and been so refreshing when people who have been through the entire history of LGBT challenges, and
mhm.
they come up and they give me support, and they show their love. And it's so nice when you see part of our community sharing that with each other. That's
Absolutely.
so beautiful.
And for you, it's especially poignant and, impactful because even when you made the big decision, you suddenly went through a whole lot of rejections, right?
Yep.
Even your record label said, okay, bye-bye, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's before I came out, I my biggest fear was that first, my parents won't accept me, and then my next fear was I was gonna lose my job as a singer, and I would think about that every day, and I'll be like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to sing anymore. And then when I came out and that happened, my record label dropped me, and they said, yeah, we don't, it's not gonna work, because being gay in Asia is just, it's hard. People won't like that idea. People might not support our record label
Mhm,
business, and people are not ready for that.
mhm,
They think, and I said, no, I think I think a bit differently, because look at the LGBT communities in the West. Like, they're so
mhm.
much far more advanced, and there's this acceptance, and of course it comes with all the challenges that we as a gay community have to go through.
Sure.
But um, people people make it in the music industry as LGBT individuals, and it's because of the media that's shown, the censorship of media of
Right.
you know contents in Asia for the past, say, hundreds of years,
Right.
that really caused, people to think that being gay is wrong.
Right.
I think it's time to change that. When I decided that I wanted to come out was because I remember as a kid, I remember I would always hear people making homosexual, just attacks on people and calling other people like faggots and
Right.
and bullying others because they're gay, and I remember being so fearful of coming out because, oh shit, people are gonna attack me the same way. And so I started acting a different way. I started being someone that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember just at the moment where I wanted to come out, I said I have to do something about this, because I was that kid that was fearful.
Yep.
And there's gonna be millions of kids out there who are fearful because of things like that as well. And I don't want them to have to go through the same thing that I did. And I don't want people to live in the closet and be untruthful in this one life of theirs. So maybe there's I don't know if there's many lives or just one life.
Sure.
But there's only I want to make the best out of every life, and I think everybody deserves to be themselves in this world. And it's the most beautiful expression that you can give your soul when you're being truthful to yourself, And so I decided
it is a big thing. And when I work with my clients in the world of coming out and coaching them out of the closet, especially since I work with a lot of people later in life that are coming out, it is the toughest thing for them to give themselves that privilege of being who they are, because they've lived so long not being. And I know you can relate to this, because your life was very much in the spotlight. You were known for your singing, and here you are, this pop singer in Singapore and Asia, and the perceived perception of who Wils was this is what we knew him as.
Right.
And it's very similar to being you were married to your work and what you did. And it's very similar to, those of us who come out late in life, we're married to this life, the persona that people perceive us as. And then suddenly when we do this, it's like, everybody's like, well, wait, that's not who I thought you were. And it's such an interesting thing, Wils. And I think you've alluded to this. It suddenly becomes all about them.
Right.
It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. You're right. Because like you've already gone past that stage of
right.
Of being, truthful to yourself, and you realize, oh, okay, it's time for that.
Yeah, it's good. And what I find so fascinating when I have these kind of conversations is everybody has pretty much a very similar experience about there are those people who are like, okay, we can't have anything to do with you. And when it becomes about them, they wonder why we as a community can be so upset by how we get treated. It's like, how would you feel if suddenly, because of you being heterosexual, I couldn't have anything to do with you?
Right. Right, exactly. It's
absurd.
I'm rolling my eyes so hard.
But I'm also curious, because I know in the LGBTQ community, we can be such bitches sometimes.
Oh yeah, we can. But I also think it's because of the hardships that we go through as well.
Yeah,
that makes us a little bit more that way.
Yes, I agree 100%. I think sometimes we don't realize our own defensiveness comes from what we've been put through. And sometimes we need to take a chill pill, step back and go, okay. And I know, because I've worked with some clients who are men of color and men of Asian descent, that sometimes the shit you go through just being an Asian gay man just adds to this whole journey.
Mm-hmm. The shit such as having to eat Korean barbecue all the time. I'm just kidding. I love it.
Okay, you and I could be besties right now, because I'll go eat Korean barbecue with you anytime. So
you have to add sesame salt and oil. So sesame oil and salt. Sorry.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
But what have you seen as now you've come out? And I know there's probably aspects of your life that, okay, you knew who you were before, but now that you're out, have you seen like additional like discrimination coming your way inside the community, or was that something?
Inside the community, it's 100% acceptance, and support and love. That's really nice to see, and it's because of the gay community support. I came to I feel wholesome as who I am, and I could be who I am. But from out of the gay community, I've received a lot of not so nice comments, especially in Asia side about
Sure.
what I'm doing. Mainstream media in like Yahoo in Singapore, they mentioned about me coming out, and I think a lot of people are not happy about it. They're saying, why is mainstream media covering something to do with LGBT? And it's like, are they trying to get some political agenda? Is there a political agenda behind it?
Right.
And like I would get I would get a lot
Yes.
of nasty comments,
Yes.
but it's like I'm
There-
okay.
Right.
I'm okay with people saying bad things about me. They can call me names because I'm all right with that, because I'm comfortable with myself, and that doesn't change who I am as a person.
I always love that this agenda thing shows up.
Right.
It cracks me up. It's like, yes, my agenda is this. I want to be a successful singer. That's my agenda. And I want to make people happy that want to listen to my
more love to the world. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Acceptance and
yeah, my whole life is an agenda to make every heterosexual person
right,
gay, and to annoy them. My whole role in life is to be an annoyance to you. So
yeah. If I sing a gay music, I make a gay music video, they're gonna turn gay. That's what I think. Yeah.
Actually, I have often thought about having this bumper sticker, and then I'm like, I don't want to be. Well, I probably will at some point, but a bumper sticker that says, "Yes, I'm gay, and I'm here on this world to annoy you." There you
my
go.
God, that's so funny. And if they get annoyed, it's just because of them. That's just
exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly. I really should do it. I should do that.
More.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the music now, because I know prior to this, is there a difference in the music that you were doing, and then now you're out, and okay, so everybody's going to say, so everything he's going to do now is going to be all gay, because he's an out gay pop singer now, so it's got to be all gay, boys and girls.
So funny.
Which I don't think that's it, even though you have a beautiful song in Oh Babe, Open Up Babe, that really does, it is about that opening up and being in your truth. But prior to this, kind of describe the pre-closeted Wils, and now the fabulous Wils that he is now. So
it's after coming out, it's just part of my artist mentality is that I can now sing about everything. I can finally, it's just I have nothing to hide anymore, and so I could truthfully sing with my heart and my soul. I can write and sing things that from a third person's point of view. I can write about my own experiences. As a gay man, or as when I was in the closet man, it just opens up. So open up, like Open Up Babe, the song name. It just opens up so much more dimensions for my creativity, that I can just be more expressive about everything. And there's no holding back.
Hey, I love that you said that, Wils, because here's something that I think, okay, I'm going to go pick on some people right now. Everybody who's like, oh, well, they're just pushing their agenda. No, we're opening up, and that doesn't mean we're suddenly going to flail our arms around. Doesn't mean that, you're going to go down the whole stereotypes. It's just, I'm just opening up and being me. And I think a lot of times when that button gets pushed on some of these people, especially the extreme people, is, yes, they're being them. In their extremists, they're being them. But what they don't get is their extremist is hurting people.
Right.
I'm going to generalize here, because I'm sure there's some in our community, but I don't really know of anybody in the LGBTQ community that says, okay, I'm coming out so that I can hurt these bitches.
Right. I never heard of that either.
I really haven't, and it's just so sad that that's something that suddenly gets put into the dialogue, into the narrative, that we come out because we want an agenda, we want to go do something, we want to destroy the world.
Right. That's the what do you call the kind of like a backlash that I got when it's like, why does every gay man have to like mention that they're coming out? But they don't understand that it's because we've gone through the whole hardship, and that coming out is almost like a being truthful. It's like a reborn of your truth. Like you're done with the past, that you feel like it's not worth living as in the closet, and you want this coming out as the whole like self-assurance and acceptance of and also another call of this coming out is also a way of saying, okay, yes, I'm gay, and I, I accept my community, and I am now part of my community,
Mm-hmm.
and I connect with them, and so I think that's what they don't understand in terms of like why we come out and how important it is for us.
Mm-hmm. But I also find it interesting that given the current political situation in our lovely United States here right now, that over the past couple of years, so many people, and I'm not talking about gay people,
Right.
so many people and groups have literally come out of the closets. The groups of hatred, the groups of discrimination, all of these things have suddenly come out,
Right.
and they don't get it that, yeah, you do have closets too, and you're coming out of them. They may not be the prettiest closets to be coming out of,
Right.
but right after the election, one of the things that I wrote about was America just came out of the closet. The true America just came out of the closet.
Oh my God! Wow.
And yes, I took some shit for that, but that's okay. That's why I had to move and assume another name. And I haven't always been Rick, which is bullshit. I've always been Rick. I'm kidding. But it is one of those interesting spaces that people get into. And as you're moving through this music world, I think what's beautiful about the little bit I know about you, is that this is about you owning you. You finally saying, this is me, which is what most of us do, but you're doing it through the lens of your craft and your talent, and making that bigger presence known, like Adam Lambert has done. And of course I'm going to forget his name because I just had it on the tip of my tongue, but yeah. There's several of them that have just really just come to that space of this is where I am. This is who I am. This is how I show up. Brandon Stansel, he's a country singer that I've had on the show a couple of times. He's just one of the nicest guys. And he's like, yeah, I'm just one in the country music field, but he goes, I know there's more, but at least I'm just being me. I'm ready to just be out and open. So I think these are those beautiful moments. So let's kind of talk about the song. Tell us a little bit about the, kind of where it came from. I know it came from your beautiful heart and soul and your creativity, but there's some stuff in there that really is about this whole opening up and being yourself, right?
Yeah, it's that's the whole song is about just having lived in the closet for such a long time. I'm just speaking to my younger self and telling my younger self that, hey, little kid, I know that you've gone through so much challenges and you're afraid, but you know what, everything's gonna be okay, and you're gonna be all right. And when you learn how to open up and love, you can actually, and look past all the scary things that you see in life, you can actually find so many beautiful things. Mm-hmm. And that part is just by opening up to see the things that you deserve as a gay person, and don't shelter in. And it's also a way of saying bye, bitch. And little kid, like, you're done. You're gone. Like, yes. Okay, I'm done. And just from this point onwards, let me take over.
I love that. I so love that. So since you've come out, what is one thing that you've really begun to love about yourself even more?
The fact that when I'm myself, and I'm just more I'm very expressive, and I'm very I like to joke around, and when I do that and I realize that I make people smile and they laugh, and that makes me happy. Like, just by being myself, I can make people happy. That really brings a lot of, I feel that that's the biggest growth I have. Mm-hmm. It's coming out. It's so nice.
There's such a interesting, and I see it in different ways with different people, but I know when I came out, there was like the challenge because I was married and had kids and all this stuff. But as soon as it happened, there was just this like feeling of relief and feeling of, okay, I can shed this skin. And I literally did shed a lot of skin. I dropped like 100 pounds in like 6 months.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny. Oh my God.
It was just like, boom, gone. And it wasn't pretty. I mean, it sounds great, but it wasn't. I was like, I'm 6'4", and I went from like 260 down to, well, no, I was 180 down, right, or 280 down to 190. And
is that just because you were going through a hard time, or
it was that, and I wasn't well, and I was like, okay, I had child support and alimony to pay, so I had about $5 a week to eat on, and no, I'm kidding, but it was pretty rough, and most of it was stress. It was definitely stress, and you can kind of appreciate this, and this is not an Asian slur, people. I'm just going to share it. I was living on top ramen, literally. That's all I ate was top ramen all the time. And true confessions, and I drank a lot of wine. So that was my diet. I highly recommend the top ramen wine diet. It's fabulous for keeping weight.
Oh my God.
Well, and then the crazy thing is on top of that, I got laid off from my job. So I was in a job looking for, I was looking for work, but when I couldn't do that, I was cycling. So I took up cycling. So, I was becoming a cyclist and living on top ramen and wine. And that combination took like 100 pounds off my body in no time flat. And so now here I am back up big again. I'm like, do I have what it takes? Should I try that again? I don't think so. At 55 years old. No, bitches. The wine is fine.
Wait, just come out.
Exactly. I just need to come out again. But, I'm a gay man now. What would I do? Come out as, okay, I'm really a lesbian in a gay man's body? I don't know. That doesn't. No, I like dick too much. So.
Oh my God. I love it too.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Oh, well, I figured that's why we had you on here is that we both like dick. So. Anyway, so now that we've covered the dick thing, this could go south really quick, folks. We could start talking about what kind of dick we like, but we're not going to go there. So actually, before we got on the podcast, we were talking about some other adventures, about day spas and stuff like that. We were there either. So what's next for you, buddy? I mean, you obviously you're not going to want to be a one-hit wonder here with your new music. So
there's an album coming up. I have so many new songs that I wrote. Some songs are going to be, the hardships we go through as a gay community, and some are going to be, my life living as a straight, inverted, what do you call that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That, the heteronormative life that really wasn't really real, but we get that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be a lot of fun songs.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the album coming up, so that's next year.
So what do you want for yourself in the next couple of years? Be a little selfish here. What would you like to see happen for you? Yeah.
I want to be able to tour areas that are not LGBT friendly in Asia. I really want to make a difference out there in and of course tour around America and the UK. That's gonna be, but more targeting the places that are not as accepting first before I go to places that are more accepting. That's what I want. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's a great goal. I love it. Sometimes it is the scariest things to go do are the things that are most fulfilling.
It is. It is when you hear when you receive messages online of how people tell you about their experiences and you get that a lot because you're empowering people who are who are. I
get it a lot because I'm fabulous. Let's just say it. Rick and Wils were fabulous, so we get that a lot. And no, I'm more. Well, I'm kind of humble that way, but you're right. It is that thing when you get that either that. In fact, I just literally got one today. I got a form filled out on my website from a gal that says I've been listening. She had heard me on another podcast, and it was one that I work for another coaching company, coaching speakers and helping them build their speaking business. She goes, I heard you on that podcast, and you were so raw and real about where you came from and the truth of who you are and how you took, your own experience and turned it into a speaking business and everything. And she goes, it gave me chills. And she goes, I'm a straight woman who really wants to have impact in the LGBTQ community. And I'm just wondering if you give me some time to talk to you about, those are the moments where you just go, I could literally, die today and go, I did what I was meant to do here, Not that I want to die today, no.
No.
No, I have to be able to torture grandchildren at some point.
Oh my God, torture! That's so funny. Oh shit.
Yes, I think my daughters are kind of like,
torture.
We may have children and just not tell you that we have them because
that's so funny.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting because my husband and I don't know. We met when my youngest daughter was, which now is our daughter, of course.
Right.
She was only 18 months old.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So we kind of know how to do, well, I know how to do the daddy years, like from conception through, but this will be interesting. Yeah. Hello, daddy. It'll be interesting as we become grandfathers and watch how this all transpires, because that will be a whole new coming out journey for us.
Like, yeah, right. You're saying it's really interesting, because you go through like the whole thing of being a father, and then there's that new stage of being a grandfather. Like, that's
yes, which is not to get confused with being a daddy. So
right, exactly.
Very clear.
The thinking,
Yeah, exactly. So, and for those of you that are listening that don't get the whole daddy thing, just go look it up on Google. You'll figure it out. Just put gay daddy in, and well, actually, don't do that. 'Cause you might end up on some porn sites that you don't really want to be on. But and actually, you don't want that in your history. So let's just say that the daddy thing is kind of a thing,
People use
actually, it's not just a thing for the gay community. It happens in the straight community.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Some people want daddy.
It's almost like it's almost like a way of witness. I don't know, when I feel like when people call others daddy, I feel like there's like a form of like a respect in there. Like, hey, you're more mature than I am, and I want to take like guidance from you. It almost feels that way when they call it that way.
It is, and it's interesting because I had this conversation on my other podcast that's getting ready to launch. So there's my little plug for that. 40 Plus Real Men, Real Talk. But I was talking with one of my guests about that, and how sometimes as we get older, and somebody says, well, I really wanted to talk to you because you're older. So you'll just let that pin drop, that might not happen right there. And it's like, okay, bitch, yes, I might be 50 some years old, but I'm not. But what we need to do is we need to embrace that, because that older, wiser is oftentimes that's a really big compliment. Yeah. And of course, in the gay community, it can be a lot of things. Like, oh, yes, daddy. Okay, fine, that could be fun. Little role playing there going on, but whatever. But I think sometimes we do forget that. In fact, many years ago, I was involved with a group in LA, 100 Gay Men is what it was called, and we had set up the group where there were the elders. There were the adults, and then there were the youth of the group, even though the youth was really like the, 15 on up to 20 somethings. But it was because we wanted to appreciate the stages that we go through as not just men, but as gay men, and how the elders in our communities are really the trailblazers. They have blazed those trails for all of us.
Hell yes.
And I think sometimes we have to learn to appreciate that. So, all right, young man, this has been fun. This has been amazing. This has been lovely. This has been fabulous.
This is really beautiful.
Let's just admit it's been the greatest way to kick off Pride Month. Well, not the greatest. The greatest would be that Cher would be sitting here with us, and Adele, and exactly, whoever we could have, that would be an amazing. But I'm so glad that we got connected, and we'll have the video. We will have everything you can do to connect. And where's your first tour? Is it really UK? Is that where you're headed first, or what's going on there?
I'm actually going to Taiwan.
Okay, that's awesome.
So that's going to be that, yeah. Because and also they're going to, I hope the whole marriage equality thing goes through, and so that'll be the first.
Now, you notice I just had him on my podcast, and he says he's going on tour in Taiwan, but he didn't say, Daddy, do you want to go with me? So, I'm done.
Daddy, do you want to go with me?
Yeah. I would love to go to Taiwan. That is definitely on my checklist of places to go.
Daddy, do you want, Daddy, let's go.
Yeah, I will be the tour coach. I will coach all those people who are struggling. You could do like a crowd call. Like, so if you're wanting to come out and you're not quite there and you need it,
Daddy's about to come out to bless all of you.
Yeah, Papa Rick, Daddy Bear is going to come out and he's going to help you.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, hey, okay, well, I'll get my people to talk to your people, and we'll figure that whole thing out. So. Yeah. All right, Wils. You know what? Love you, man. Love your energy. Wishing you all the success in the world. And thanks again for sharing your afternoon, your day, your evening, your life with us.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity and this voice. I love you all. Bye. Happy Pride.
Hey, Life Uncloseted family. Another episode of Life Uncloseted has come to an end, and it is time for all of us to sashay away and go face our fears, make those bold moves, and stand up to living our life without apology. But before you do, I've got a favor to ask of you. Would you hop over to iTunes or Spotify or Podbean or wherever it is that you're listening to this, and just give us a little bit of love if you like what we're doing here at Life Uncloseted. Here's what it does. It helps other people find the show. It helps other people get to know what we're all about. And you just might help change a life. In fact, if you really want to change a life, we'd love it if you just ask a friend to take a listen and see what they think. So that's it. Love you all deeply. I'm Rick Clemens, the host of Life Uncloseted, and never stop stepping out, stepping up, and stepping into living your life uncloseted.